Episode number 186 of the Convincing Idiots podcast. A celebrity who evokes many emotions. OJ has passed away. We will talk all about it. The most expensive comic book of all time is sold. What is it? We'll tell you. A new adult-themed storyline of comic characters is coming out. It's in development. What is it? We'll tell you about it. Is it dirty? I don't know. The Vitruvian Man from Da Vinci makes legal news. We'll talk about that in our Ask an Idiot segment. And our main topic this evening, in the week of the eclipse. Some view it as a weird event, maybe a disaster event, maybe an apocalyptic sign. We will discuss our favorite apocalyptic shows and movies in our main topic. Keep listening, keep watching, and let's start the show.
You guys enjoy your whatever that is.
All right. Test.
Test.
Test. You call it again? Convincing idiots.
Called it ham gravy.
I informed them that I sided with the stat man, not just anyone's opinion, the stat man Brian Fisher.
These kids today.
Jingle All the Way is in fact the best Christmas movie of all time.
I need to get Grandma a present, and my herpes is flaring up. I got it.
Mm-hmm.
Yo. I'm the millennial
We're
Santa.
three friends representing three different generations. That's our whole shtick. That's our thing.
Mm-hmm.
Nick got the whole poop.
Mm-hmm.
I'm standing in the sea
Awesome.
breeze, holding a turd, just mightily. I'm just going hitting hats.
Anyway, on a lighter note,
And welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the vodcast. Welcome to the broadcast. Boys and girls, welcome to the show. This is Convincing Idiots. My name's Dean. They call me the Zennial.
I'm Ryan Gen X.
And my name is Nicholas, and I am a millennial. And as you've probably gathered by now, we are Convincing Idiots, a weekly podcast of three friends representing three different generations. We get together here just about each and every week to discuss all things nerd and pop culture. So, if you like the sounds of that and you like the sounds of these voices, we suggest that you go find us on your favorite social media accounts, social media platforms. You can find links to all of them on our link tree. Go to Google and type in Convincing Idiots, Linktree, Linkree. You can find links to our social media accounts as well as places in which you can download this podcast each and every week. Also, links to our merch store, which is through TeePublic. Go check out some cool merch there. One Zennial Dean may or may not be sporting one of those fine products this evening if you are watching.
Check out the YouTube.
That's right. You can find all that information and so much more on our website. That's right. Set it to your favorites in your browser. That is convincingidiots.wordpress.com. There we go. Or, I don't say it all the time, I probably haven't said it in a calendar year, ask your home smart device to play the Convincing Idiots podcast, and I'll be goddamned if they won't pull us right the fuck up. We'll be there. Yeah. So, gentlemen, we're here for another riveting episode of Convincing Idiots. So, Dean, go ahead and tickle my fancy. Rivet my emotions with words now, please.
All right.
Smooth.
Well, yes, done this before. So, what, this week? Well, really didn't get anything except the eclipse. I think
you got into the eclipse? Like a portal to another dimension? How does that work?
Well, I did see I went into the multiverse during the eclipse, and I saw multiple versions of us.
Oh. And
come to my surprise, all of the multiple Brians that I encountered were all masculine and brilliant.
Sure.
So we got the lesser one, and then for all the Nicks, well, most of them like to do hand stuff just like you. So nothing changed.
Nice.
Yeah, that's right. I like to. Consistency's always been a hallmark of mine.
That's right. The universe knows.
I hope one of
right.
mine at least had a man bun. Did one of them have a man bun?
The majority of them
Nice.
had man buns.
Good.
One of the
Good.
versions of me has definitely done hand stuff to one of the versions of you with a man
Nice.
bun. Absolutely.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, so you read my journal? Okay. No.
We like
Yeah,
to have fun here.
Is that what this is? So I know we'll all talk about this, but the eclipse, April 8th, was intense. Like I don't know what I was expecting. I know I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting lesser. Like okay, it's the moon. There goes in front of the sun. But man, it was wild, wasn't it? Yeah. Just not the look of it, but like how dark it got. It was the colorization all around you. It was like dusk, but like eerie and yet a little bit psychedelic. Man, it was so cool.
Dude, I really wished I was high when I was looking at it. I was
right?
like, I would have loved to have had a gummy about 45 minutes ago.
Oh my God, it would have been amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was wild.
Still was amazing. I mean, you know, without any type of mind-altering substances, it was great.
Yeah, if you don't know, if you're listening to us for the first time, we're in Ohio, so Ohio happened to be in the path of the the totality, yes, which is a very rare occurrence in our area.
Almost damn near 4.5 minutes of it.
Also, my OnlyFans is totality as well, but it's kind of a different thing. So.
Yeah, well, you really should subscribe.
Yeah,
you get to see some of that Nick and the man bun situation going on.
Different kind of moon uncovering on Nick's.
Only other thing that I've gotten into besides the eclipse, I was talking to Rochelle, and she got to listen to on her way home from vacation. Jonathan was listening to us, so she got to listen to a lot of us on the way home. And she came up with this observation.
You guys fucking suck. How long have you been doing this for?
She came up with the observation that she said, regardless of the age of you guys, Dean, you are definitely the youngest.
Yeah, she told me that as well. That's good. It's funny.
Yeah. So Nick, you look older than I do. I look like the youngest, and she noticed that through just listening to it. So it must be completely obvious that you sound a lot more older than I do.
I don't think that's what she meant, but no, I don't think so.
That's not what she meant.
Mm-mm.
Oh
no.
I may have talked to her a little bit later. She may have mentioned something about my maturity compared to your guys.
Okay.
But regardless, either way, it was said that I am younger than Nick.
You are the youngest one, yes.
That's right. So, you take the wins where you can.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, it's all about perspective.
That's right. That's right.
Life is all about perspective.
That's why I only piss with small figurines next to my penis. So, perspective.
She's right. You are the youngest one. Yeah. Correct assessment.
Old man Nick, what have you been up to? Besides just being old and sounding old.
Just another crotchety weekend. You know how I do.
You're yelling at kids, get off your lawn.
That's right. Yeah. Stare at the clouds and scream at them. That was what did we do this weekend? We went to the Destination Imagination State Competition in Cincinnati. So we left Friday, got to the hotel, did a little swimming, stayed at a very nice hotel. Lovely place, really friendly staff. The pool was great. Very nice day. But a quick turnaround. Went to the competition Saturday early morning. Spent all day there.
Before you get into the next thing, I'd like to mention that happy birthday, Nora.
Happy birthday, Nora.
Yes. Well, we saw each other. You came over my house.
These are for Nora. I got her these fireworks if you're watching. This is for her.
And happy birthday, Nora. That is my lovely girlfriend's daughter, Megan, who was her birthday too. And Megan and I went out for her birthday as well. So happy birthday.
The same birthday? They don't have the same birthday.
A couple days apart.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, happy birthday to Megan and Nora.
Yes, indeed.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I just didn't want you to be the first one to mention that, so I did.
I got Nora.
I would just like to wish
break
happy
in
birthday
there.
to Dean's family
Right.
because he doesn't give a fuck too. So I'm
Mhm.
going to go ahead and say it.
I got Nora a serving tray for the next beer tasting event.
That's right.
So-
She loved it.
Yes,
Loved
we have a
it.
young child.
Here, this apron
serving
has
us-
multiple pockets
Mhm.
for beer caps and tickets, and
Mhm.
you know.
I did
yeah.
get her her own record player, so
Yes, very nice.
old soul. Nora is, and she loved it, and got a whole bunch of records so far. Got a good collection started.
Yes.
Yeah, she's
A nice Beatles record player
Yeah.
turntable there. It was nice.
Yes, that's right.
yeah, and she was wearing a Pink Floyd shirt. I saw. And,
She was.
yeah, not even 10 years old, right?
Nope. Just turned 9.
Man, that's
Nice.
awesome. Great. Sorry, Nick. Go
Very
ahead. What
cool.
else are you
So-
up to, Nick?
Sorry, Nick. Yeah, my apologies.
Oh
Go
no,
ahead.
you're good. What was I doing? Oh, Cincinnati. Yeah,
Mhm.
we did
Take
the
apology anyways.
So anyway, Oliver's team sadly did not place in the top 3, so they did not get to go to globals. His team, but like I told him, he's the oldest kids on their team. It's elementary level, so the oldest kids on his team are in the 2nd grade. They're going to go up against kids up to the 5th grade level. So, it took Lane many years of doing DI before they got to globals and stuff. So Lane's team did take 2nd place in their age group. So essentially, we're all going to globals in Kansas City next month anyway. So that's what I told Oliver. I said, hey, the upside is he and I get to go there with no pressure. Like his team's
Right.
not, we get to go and partake in all the festivities, but we don't have to do anything. So that's fun.
That's
So
the way I like to do things.
yeah. So, but it was a good weekend. Nice time. My mom went with us as well, and we went to get dinner and stuff on the way back. So we go to this Robin. We're somewhere brand new that we've never been before. I like to look up online, looking for. I got a certain checklist, right? I'd like some place that has good looking burgers or different types of stuff on the menu, maybe some craft beers, maybe just the bar and grill type thing. So we're looking around. We find a few places. Robin finds this one called Gano's. I don't know how you pronounce it. Roadhouse Bar and Grill, whatever. So we go to this place, and it looks pretty nice and everything like that. But we walked in. And this was Friday evening around 5:30. Just a bunch of locals after work with getting buckets. It was very
That's the best
loud
way
in
to do
there.
it.
The floors were uneven. But I will tell you, the burger that I had there, I had a black and blue burger, and the blue cheese was a little burnt around the edges and everything. It was phenomenal. Very good meal. But it was when we sat down, I was like, okay, this is clearly the town local hang after the blue collar guys get off work there. But it was actually, I was very, very pleasantly surprised with the food.
Nick didn't know
so it
what
was
to
a
do
good
with
time.
all those pores around him.
I didn't. It was some of them looked downright filthy.
Manual labor people. Yeah.
The pores.
Mm.
Yeah. Anyway, but no, it was a good trip. So we had a lot
Showing
of fun.
off his fingernails with no dirt under them.
Yeah, but good times. And then this week, the eclipse was very cool. We were talking a little bit about that. I personally, I didn't take the day off work or anything like that. I was just it's because it literally is the time in totality was 4 minutes. So I was
Close to 4.5.
I'm not going to go through. Okay, well, maybe if I would have known it was going to be closer to 4.5,
Well, do
I
your
would have gone
research.
the extra distance. So I thought, yeah, it would be kind of neat or whatever, but we'll look up at it. Cool, whatever. I was super impressed. Like you said, I don't know what I was expecting, but I heard somebody say, oh yeah, it's supposed to get really dark. You might be able
the
to see some
temperature
stars and
drop.
stuff. And I'm like, okay, all right. But I'll be goddamned if it didn't. It's
Now-
it looks
now
like
at this
9
point,
o'clock at night out here. This is crazy.
Do you kind of regret not getting to do it with your children? To experience that with
yes
the kids?
and no. I had both sets of mind because I was Robin was sending me pictures. They went over to your parents' house, sat out in the field and stuff, and I'm like, oh, that's I wish I was there. And then it was over and done really fast, and I was like, okay, I would have been screwed either way because if I would have taken the day off, I would have been a little pissed, and I'd be like, this was cool, but also it was 4.5 minutes, so it would have been probably didn't need a whole day for that. But yeah, it was really cool. I was very, very impressed with it. It was a lot cooler than I thought.
Probably
it was
really
gonna be.
missed you, but
Yeah,
whatever.
You can do it again.
Probably
and
they see enough of me. They're like,
Yeah.
fucking just.
you can
You don't always have to be here.
you can see it again
Yeah,
and
but they like
travel
the-
in 20 years. It's no big deal.
Yeah.
Right.
And they probably would like the idea of, like, when it got dark, not being able to see your face.
Hmm.
Sure. Yeah. Sure. Everybody at work at least appreciated that.
That's true.
So, but yeah, that's about it.
You get to experience it with Balin instead of your kids. Yeah,
Nice.
that's cool too.
I did well, not exactly. He was
Yeah.
on the other side of the dumpster outside, so I didn't see him over there. God,
Is he in there like Oscar the Grouch?
I cannot confirm nor deny. I didn't see him. I don't know where he was. He wasn't by me. I don't know.
Also with a
Brian,
hand up his ass.
what was your experience with the eclipse?
Really nice. I took half a day off. Allie took the whole day, so Allie and I went out and met at her lovely sister and brother-in-law's place, Portage Lakes, Ohio. So, private residence, and they had a nice yard, great view. It was a perfect day. It really was a great day, like 70 degrees. It could not have been a nicer day for that event. It was really something. So we sat there.
And clear skies, because I mean, like the stations I was listening to in Toronto and stuff, like the sport were like, it's cloudy and shit. They really couldn't see it that well. So I mean, we were fortunate in that regard too. We had a really clear view of it.
Yeah. Sat there, chilled out, listened to like a Eclipse playlist, and smoked a nice Cuban cigar, and had a couple of beers.
What is that?
Nice.
Okay, let's hold up here. What was on an Eclipse playlist exactly?
It's
Total Eclipse of the Heart.
That was on there for sure. It was like, Apple Music, if you could make your own playlist, and if you wish, you can make it searchable by the public if you want to. Just so this was some lady made a good playlist and put it out there publicly, and it was like, you probably just did a search of like moon, sun type songs, whatever. There was, Pink Floyd, Corey Hart, like you said.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
I don't know that was on there, but that would have been a good one to have on there. But it was good, very relaxing,
Little
chill.
CCR with that band.
Yes, that was on there for sure.
Mhm.
Was that nice?
Yeah, so just really nice, and and watching you couldn't tell until you put
Here Comes the Sun.
Right, that was on there. Yeah,
Of course it was.
Until you put the glasses
They're all coming
on,
to me
how
now.
the moon was actually covering the sun, you couldn't tell right away. You know what I mean? And just watching those last few moments with the glasses and the sliver of the sun, and then looking up,
And
at
then with that, the
the
beams
fire,
came around.
man, it was really
Corona.
Yeah, it was really
Little solar flares around there.
really
Yeah.
amazing.
It was awesome.
So some guy 2 doors down, okay, motherfucker was mowing his lawn with a tractor mower. Do you think he stopped for 10 seconds to watch the eclipse?
He did it all right through.
No, straight through. Didn't shut the
That's awesome.
goddamn mower off for 2 seconds. Is it,
Back in my day, when men were men,
Yeah.
we didn't stop to look at the clouds in the
Right.
sky. We mowed our lawn if it needed mowed.
that was it. And like 10 minutes after the thing, he was done. It's like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Anyways. So
you wanted this man to hold up
Yes.
the rest of his day. You don't know
Yeah.
how busy this gentleman is.
Right.
You wanted him to
Very
throw his
busy.
whole fucking routine
Yeah,
off. For 10
I had to get in
minutes?
there and watch
So you
fucking
could see it in silence?
can't miss 5 minutes of the wheel, I guess. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Right.
What he had going on. But
Keep it tight.
Time
I run a straight
constraints.
schedule, right?
Jesus. But it was amazing. I mean, it really like a lot of people, a lot of reactions were just kind of just something to experience, and you realize how amazing nature is, and the stars. It was a very cosmic experience in very
Sure.
essence of, and just to think about that again, the next one's not going to be until I think again 20 years or so, something like that. It'll be a partial
2044, I
It'll be
believe.
a partial one around here, but it's and you have to travel to go see it. And we were talking prior, it's like, man, people driving in for this in Ohio, it's interesting that people do that.
I mean, I wouldn't do it, but I get it.
But exactly. And then once we went through it and saw it, it's like, yes, I would want to see that again, even if we had to travel to see it. If we had the means to do so, I would definitely want to experience it again. You know what I mean? So just awesome. Last Friday, before the Friday before the eclipse, we went out with some friends to Don Tequila down in Canton. One interesting thing about this very good restaurant, good Mexican food. They have some different things on the menu and stuff like that. But they have I've never been served by a robot bringing you your chips and salsa and things like that. So they had a robotic server. They could put the thing on a tray. It had a little screen with a little face on it. And what they must do is have all the tables assigned, and they must just assign, okay, this is table whatever. And the robot works its way through the crowd. If it picks up someone in its path, it backs up and takes another path to you, showing up playing Mexican music, and you could take your stuff off the tray, hit finish, and it goes back to the
That's
back to
awesome.
the station. So that was
Wow.
interesting experience. And Saturday we went to the Akron Art Museum. Took in some art, very interesting, and got a couple of stamps on the Blue Path.
That was a good time.
Yeah, that was a nice afternoon. So, yeah, just an overall nice few days for sure. Again, capped off by the awesome eclipse. So that's it.
Nice.
Yes. All right. Well, Dean, you have a bear?
Oh,
Go ahead.
real quick.
Go ahead.
I forgot. I was going to text you guys this, but I figured I'd just say for this. I almost forgot.
Sure.
So I am in Rocky River for work yesterday, and I pull up to this stoplight, and I look to my left, and there is a little person on a child's bicycle, drunk. And as the light turned green, he cheered so hard for the light, pointing at the light like it did something for him. It was a sight to behold. A little person on a child's bike, drunk, cheering for a red light.
Awesome.
That was the highlight of
I don't know
my
whether or
week.
not to believe this story. It sounds so far-fetched that
No,
like the time Dean got abducted after dinner.
I will show you the text I sent to other people. I just wanted to save it for you two for today.
Very good.
And tonight, yeah, it was. It's one of those where like you have to like do a reality check because
did you think you were asleep for a second? You're like, what?
Right? Yeah, you're looking around going, what is going on here? Yeah. It was amazing to see. He was so. I've never seen anybody cheer for a red light as it turned green, or I think it turned red so he could go. He was so happy and drunk and small, and the bike was a sight to behold. Yeah.
Very good. Well, thank you for that
interesting
short story. Thank you very much. Dean? Why don't you keep it going?
Good deal. All right.
Yeah. Have you seen anything interesting, Dean? You want to get into some idiot reviews, sir?
Your jokes.
Note the keyword interesting. Was it?
I haven't seen anything. I haven't really watched anything. No, I did. I'm continuing with Stranger Things.
Yeah.
But because of the episode last week, I watched WrestleMania.
Yes.
It's not because of it, but I watched WrestleMania this past weekend.
You know what? I think I'm going to watch wrestling this weekend because of that episode.
And that's why I didn't mention about what I did, because I got to see Brian as well this weekend. He came over for a little bit of WrestleMania Sunday. Yep. It's a 2-night event, Saturday and Sunday. Mm-hmm. And John came over for Saturday night. We watched night one, where The Rock and Roman Reigns in the main event faced Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. And The Rock and Roman Reigns won. And then Brian came over to see the majority of night two. Mm-hmm. And, it was a little late, so they went home, a little early. But then Carter came out.
Before the main event?
Yeah,
before the main event.
To get Ali home for the next day, yeah. Anyway.
But Carter came out, and which he isn't a big fan of wrestling, mm-hmm. but he did come out, and him and I got to watch because they had the day off school because of the eclipse the next day.
Because it was WrestleMania.
Right. They're WrestleMania Monday.
Make them go to school the next day.
It's amazing. Right. No, but he came out, and we got to watch the main event, which watched Cody Rhodes beat Roman Reigns and finish his story. And it was a fantastic event.
Was that the Undertaker choke slamming The Rock? Was that Sunday night?
It sure was.
Okay.
So that was Sunday night.
Nice.
Yeah, you get to see the Undertaker come back. You got to see John Cena come out. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was something else. Very cool.
Nice.
But yeah, other than that, and I'm continuing to watch Stranger Things. That's all that I got to watch.
Very good.
What about you guys?
Go ahead, Nick.
I've got an eclectic set of reviews here. I'll start with the closest proximity to the last topic. I recently saw the other day on Instagram, scrolling through Instagram, and I come across Stone Cold's Instagram, and I don't know. I think that I've been spiraling since last year's WrestleMania, because last year at WrestleMania at Dean's house, I was introduced to Rhea Ripley. So I since then have followed her, and like now my algorithm
As everybody
like
should.
showing me a bunch of Rhea Ripley stuff. So I'm like very in tune with. I know her storyline. I know what she's doing. I don't watch wrestling at all, but I know what's going on. I follow her stuff, and therefore, so now it's going into like between old wrestlers that I follow and things like that. It's giving me all kinds of wrestling things like all the time, because I think it just the algorithm is picking that up from me. So now I'm getting inundated with a lot of wrestling stuff. But I come across Stone Cold Steve Austin's Instagram, and I come across a reel, and it just made me appreciate Stone Cold Steve Austin is one of those guys. He has, we'll say, like the Jeff Goldblum thing, where he's just, you could listen to him talk about anything.
Yeah.
He was on his Broken Skull Ranch, and he was sitting there petting a cat, and he was talking about his cat, and he made a dad joke for whatever the cat's name was. Had a dream the other night that she had a dream last night that she ate a muffler. Well, she woke up today exhausted. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. It's Stone Cold making dad jokes. And then he's sitting there the whole time petting this cat, and he's talking about on the Broken Skull Ranch. They had a break in the other night, and they got these chickens running around here, and people ask me all the time if the cat minds the chickens, and I'll be goddamn, she never goes after the chickens. Hell, chickens don't seem to mind her. We got all these fucking rats in here. And every now and again, he'll drop like an F-bomb, and but he's just sitting there holding this cat, talking about what's going on at Broken Skull Ranch, his new beer release, that it's in a collaboration with something. And so now I'm obviously
El Segundo Brewery.
I'm sitting there.
Actually pretty good beer.
Watching a 5-minute long video of Stone Cold petting a cat, talking about regular ass shit going on at his house. And so now obviously, I'm following him, and but yeah, it was that was just fantastic. I was like, I have to review this video, even if it's just one video. It was fantastic. And it was just very cool. So watch that. I was introduced, Brian, you in the past have remarked how much you enjoy Drew Carey's, I think it's Drew Carey's radio show.
Yes.
He has like a radio show he does every week.
Yes, that's right.
I found something like that on Apple Music. You guys probably are not familiar, but he's a radio personality. He's got years and years. His name is George Stroumboulopoulos. He's from Toronto, and he used to be on Hockey Night in Canada for a while. But he's, does all these interviews, and he's got an Apple Music station, and everyday radio show, like a couple hours where he just plays stuff, and he's got different little sub shows that he does, and one that I found this week that he just launched a couple weeks ago is called Strange Brew, which is basically an hour and a half of him putting together, obviously, an odd concoction of music. A lot of it centers around like Canadian artists or whatever, but a lot of it they tries to spotlight newer things, and then he'll throw in some real old stuff like 80s punk and synth stuff, and really cool. I was thinking of you, Brian, though, when I was listening, because I'm like, it sounds kind of like the way you talked about the Drew Carey show that you like, that he has on the radio. It was the same deal as a personality that I really like, and so that's pretty cool. That's like all I've been listening to at work, and then still just plugging away with Seinfeld as well. So I did finally get my first episode with a Vandalay Industries reference. Finally got that was the
Nice.
the one where he's on unemployment, when George is on unemployment, and doing all these tactics to try to extend his benefits and all this stuff. And there was a Mets player that the thing with Jerry, where Jerry meets him in a locker room, and he wants to befriend him. He's starstruck by him. He's a Mets player, and whatever. And he idolizes this guy, and then he's acting like it's a relationship. He doesn't know if he should call him or whatever.
Keith Hernandez, right?
She starts being lame and stuff. Keith Hernandez. Yes, that's right. That is correct.
Back and to the left.
Very good. Very
Back and to the left.
Yes, right. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. The spit. Yeah.
The JFK
the
reference.
The magic loogie. Yeah.
Yep.
That's good.
But Seinfeld continues to be fantastic. I absolutely love it. It's just the further I get into it, the more I love it. I can't get enough.
It makes me happy. It's still to this day
so
continues to
fucking
make
good.
me happy.
And it's funny because I knew what it was. I mean, without really ever having sat down and ever watched a full episode, I always knew I'd like it. I just never made the time to go out and watch it. And
sure.
So, but yeah, it's just fantastic. So that's about it. Nothing crazy over here. Nothing too new.
Very good.
Brian, what's new in your neck of the woods?
Well, yeah, to give the full credit, so it's the Drew Carey show's on the radio show, that is. It's on the Sirius XM, the Drew Carey Friday Night Freakout. Every Friday they put it on streaming demand as well. You can check that out. So I listen to it every week.
I think you guys have talked about these different playlists from these different celebrities.
Mhm.
I think I would enjoy if maybe for this show, Brian would like do a live feed of some sort, on his own from his porch, doing kind of like his recap of what he's listening to. I think people would listen to that.
Sure.
Yeah.
There you go. The people in Botswana will go nuts over that, I believe.
Absolutely.
Yep. We had a new listener in Costa Rica recently, by the way. Yeah, maybe that person would enjoy it.
Sure.
Main show I've been watching, you guys. I worked my way through Three Body Problem on Netflix. So it's season
Getting a lot of
1.
good reviews.
Very enjoyable. Yeah, it's a science fiction. I won't spoil it, but basically aliens are coming and we're trying to deal with it. So that's kind of the premise of the show. And the actor that plays Wong in the Doctor Strange movies, I can't think of his name. I love that dude. He's like one of the main characters on this thing. So just interesting. So how do we deal with this? And it's a lot of build up, and it's a very good season. And I won't spoil anything, but it's that it very likely will be other seasons. That's the storyline here. But
you finished
I
it?
did finish it. Definitely.
Okay.
It's like 8 episodes, all about 50 or so minutes each. So take a minute to get through it, but highly recommend. So go check that out on that. That's it. I just focused on that and worked my way through it. Really enjoyed it, and recommend you check that out. Okay.
Yeah, the original. I was looking up the original premise for that show was, it wasn't going to be aliens. A lot of people didn't realize that. Is that it was just going to be about how to save money on insurance. But they changed it because they couldn't afford Aaron Blake because he's too busy staying at home and staying at his office and offering you the listener and insurance at an affordable cost. Let me tell you about it.
We got there, folks. We got there, folks.
What's that?
So we got there, folks.
I got there.
Yep.
Well, I thought it was a little weak starting out, so I had to
explain the premise more. How does it tie into Three Body Problem? I don't understand the joke. Explain it more.
I got one body problem I know I'm looking at right now. It's a flabby one at that.
Don't alienate yourself from good savings.
That's right.
Ladies and
And
gentlemen.
Blake Insurance will never have a flabby body problem like Nick does because he keeps it tight. Blake Insurance is an Erie insurance agency located right here in Barberton, Ohio. They provide auto, home, renters, and business insurance with honesty, decency, and affordability. Erie Insurance is above all else in service. You want to call 234-571-5359 or visit BlakeInsuranceLLC.com for your free 5-minute quote today. When you do, tell him that you know
Originally,
about
a
his...
premise was written for him for the Three Body Problem, but then they
and tell him that you're a little disappointed that he didn't take the job because you'd love to have seen him, but you love when he saves you money.
Okay.
Blake Insurance.
Okay.
Acceptable. That's okay. All right, we got it.
Okay.
Good.
Is that what you're going with? You want to edit that out?
No, you good? No, we're good. No, leave it. Leave it in. Leave it in. We're good. Flabby ass motherfucker.
Excellent. All right, we're going to take a break.
When we come back, Nick will do a sit-up.
That's right. Nick will do a sit-up, and then we'll bring you some pop culture headlines, and then get into our Ask an Idiot segment this evening. Again, we were such it's good conversation last week on legal matters that we're going to have another legal type question in our Ask an Idiot segment coming up in segment 2. Right after this.
Is that why I'm not allowed at the park anymore?
Could be. Welcome back to Convincing Idiots, brought to you by Gene Pitney Estate, ladies and gentlemen.
Mm-hmm.
He was just telling us about a new album he just picked up, the great Gene
New album?
Pitney.
I think
New
it's new
old
to
album.
him. Absolutely.
It's new to me.
Right.
Yep,
The man who shot Liberty Valance.
there you have it.
If I
There you
sing
have
anymore, we'll have to pay. So I'll
I
keep it at
don't
that.
think so. I don't think you will.
Low price of $7 for that album. Thank you.
At that price, I couldn't pass it up.
No, sure. That's right. That's good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Y'all don't appreciate good music. That's it. That's what it is.
Well, big death in pop culture. Kind of a strange, a lot of people have a lot of different reactions to this death. Yesterday, O.J. Simpson passed away here, guys. 76. Today was it?
Well, the day we're recording, it was today. Well, maybe
April.
he may have
April
passed
10th.
yesterday, I guess. Okay,
It passed yesterday. It was announced today. So
Well, that's not breaking news. That's cutting news.
Cutting news.
Oh.
Cutting news. That's right. That's terrible. So 76 years of age, been battling cancer. I did not know this, but so it's just such a weird transition of events in his life. We all know who he is. Most people certainly know who he is, but football player, Hall of Fame player, literally. I mean, he has his bust in the Canton Pro Football Hall of Fame, which was actually stolen for a period of time, and they recovered it.
Irony that it's just ahead.
So
what are we dancing around for?
Yes,
he was
right.
on trial for accused of killing his wife and a random guy that was returning sunglasses. Allegedly.
Right. Got acquitted,
he got acquitted.
Huge trial. Still to this day, one of the strangest things I ever saw on television was the Bronco chase. Just wild stuff. This is mid '90s when all this happened. I recall coming home, living with my buddy Jim at the time. Came upstairs and he's just watching. But what are you watching on television? It's just like O.J. Simpson running from the police, and it was a slow chase. It's just like wild. I remember just cracking a beer and sitting down and just watching it, just captivated by just the strange events that were going on. And then certainly the big trial, he got away with that, but then was later arrested
if the glove don't fit, you must acquit.
Yeah, one of the best defense. I mean,
Nick, you haven't got to Jackie Childs yet. You got a couple seasons until you get to Jackie Childs.
Oh yeah, based on
Seinfeld.
OJ trial?
Yeah.
They do there's a lawyer that they kind of base off of what's his name? What was his name, Brian?
Gosh.
Jesus. I know there was there's F. Lee Bailey, who also defended
We'll look it up here too, but it was the Kardashians' father was on the the team as well, So, man, just a crazy thing.
Robert Kardashian,
Anyway, I think he was later arrested in a robbery scam thing for sports memorabilia, and he was put in jail for that. Lost a civil case to the Goldman family. I don't know if he ever really paid much. I don't really know, but there's a lot of fascinating documentaries on OJ out there. I did see that Hulu is airing there was a series, the People versus O.J. Simpson.
Johnny Cochran.
Johnny
was his
Cochran. That's
name.
it. That's it.
Yeah, right.
That's it. But
Yeah, Cuba Gooding
Oh, is that
Jr.
what you were
played
looking
him.
for? His name?
Yeah.
The lawyer's name? Oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, but it was check if you've not seen People versus O.J. Simpson, that the miniseries,
Very
check that
good.
out. Definitely a good watch there too. Again, just tells the story of the very
Watch it
weird.
while you still can with Cuba Gooding Jr. because he's about to hit some fucking shit too.
Okay.
What did he?
Yeah.
What did he get
he's
into?
part of the Diddy stuff. He's been, yeah.
Oh, boy.
He's heavily implied in a lot of shit. Yeah.
OJ later, after his, this is before his accusation, he was getting into movies, and he was a very famous sports commentator for some time. Was in the Naked Gun movies as a goofball character. Just a strange thing. So I'll just leave it there. So, Nick, what are your memories, and how are you going to remember? Oh, is it simply just the crime? Did you have other thoughts on him? What are your thoughts on O.J. Simpson passing? Go ahead.
I was just telling Robin today, I was like, I think back to, as a kid, I first knew O.J. Simpson as a person in the public eye. I knew him from I had no idea he was a pro football player until many, many years later. I had no idea. And then let alone, not only was he just and I'm like, I didn't know he played in the NFL. Not only that, he was one of the greatest running backs there was. Like, he was
first guy to hit
very
2,000
good.
yards rushing ever.
Yeah, I had no idea. But I mean, he was retired by the time I was alive. I didn't watch him play football. But as a young kid, I mean, I was born in '88. So, I mean, I was, a young kid. And I remember hearing adults talking about the O.J. Simpson trial and all this stuff. And that's I didn't, it's kind of weird to think back on. I didn't really, I just knew he was somebody. I knew who he was, but for no particular reason. I didn't see him on TV other than in a courtroom. I knew, I didn't, I don't know. It's odd. Like you said, it's what an odd career or whatever. What do you want to call it? His public, just his whole life, really, from being on top of the proverbial mountain there, all the way to the fall and everything. And really, I mean, always kept getting into dumb shit, right? Like you said, he later went back to jail for stealing some of his own memorabilia. It just a lot of crazy stuff. Interesting person from what I hear about him, as far as you just kind of wonder what's going on in someone like that's mind if he in fact did what it is heavily implied, and you would think that he probably did. Why he something obviously was amiss up there, to even put yourself in predicaments like that. If, pardon the pun, but getting away with murder, and you kind of continue to put yourself in risky situations.
The craziest thing is when he wrote a book and he said, "If I did it,
here's how I would have done it." Basically, if I would have done it, this is it's odd. I will say, and I'm not here trying to put pay homage to O.J. Simpson, whatever, but I don't know. He was a person. He had kids, whatever. I was listening to another podcast. They were talking about O.J., and apparently they had said that he had recently posted a video on X saying that he was doing good. He appreciated all the well wishes, and he's feeling like he's on the upswing. He'll be back on the golf course in no time, all this stuff. So I was curious, and I went and watched it. And I'm watching this video of O.J., and I'm just like, he had it, man. He had the charisma, because here I am watching it, and momentarily just forgetting all of the horrible thing. He was a very charismatic and seemingly sweet and likable guy. I'm watching these videos, and he's just appreciate all the well wishes. I'll be back on the links in no time. I think I got this thing. He just has this friendly uncle vibe. I don't know what it is exactly, but again, I'm not trying to show you OJ through rose-colored glasses, but obviously with the horrendous things that he is implied that he did or probably did or didn't do, probably did. He. I was telling Robin, because she goes, she was watching something about one of the times Nicole had called the cops, and you can hear him in the background screaming at her.
Oh yeah.
And she's like, how did this how did he get away? And I said, well, there's two key factors here. If, again, allegedly. One, very powerful, very rich, a lot of connections, very, right? He's the stature. He's somebody very important. Like it or not,
he could
that's
afford
the way the
good
world
lawyers.
works a lot of times. Secondarily, super fucking likable guy. If he wants to show you that side of him, that you know what I mean? There's
the prosecutors really fucked up that case in many respects too.
Yeah.
When they asked them to put that glove on, that was it. That they fucked themselves with that.
After Nick's love letter to O.J. Simpson, you guys cannot bust my balls about Kevin Spacey again. You hear me?
You know what? I kind of want to go buy. I want to go run a car from Hertz after this.
Think Kevin Spacey's worse.
I feel compelled to do that.
Yeah. No, I mean, yes, obviously, like I said, it's one of those things where, like, tongue in cheek, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. You like, allegedly, it's like we all know he fucking did it. Like, obviously, terrible fucking dude, but like, it's just, what do you say? What do you say about somebody that passes? Certainly, it's something to touch on because huge in pop culture, and that's what we do here. But what do you say?
Good things, apparently.
Thoughts and prayers to his family. That
that's fair.
Kids?
Like you say, a kid.
I mean, I don't know. There he was.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Dean,
what are your
would you
thoughts?
like to speak any more ill of the dead?
O.J. Simpson died. So that's that. Let me go ahead and touch on some
Let's
fun
talk
little
about
aspects
Conway
of
Twitty
pop
some more,
culture.
or whoever it was.
No, I'm going to touch on a little bit of pop culture aspects while you masturbate to whatever O.J. did. So F. Lee Bailey, one of the, I don't know if you're familiar, but
Nope.
F. Lee Bailey was one of O.J.'s attorneys in his dream team of attorneys, right?
Right. Yep.
I knew that he had some famous clients. He was a very famous L.A. attorney.
Didn't want to give an OJ thumbs up on the screen.
Man.
He represented Patty Hearst. He represented who was the Boston Strangler. He also Sam Shepard. I don't know if you're familiar with the Sam Shepard case. I'm going to put my thumb down here. Sam Shepard was the guy who the movie The Fugitive was based on. Right? But in real life, Sam Shepard did get off for murdering his wife as well. But he also ended up becoming a professional wrestler for years. And then another fun thing that pop culture wise in this situation is I remember back it was WrestleMania like 12. They did a Hollywood back street fight, right? A backlot street fight, right? And it was Roddy Piper against Goldust. And they started in a backlot in Hollywood, and then they would come to the arena to finish the fight in the ring, right? But they used the aerial shot of the Bronco coming down the highway with the police behind it. But instead, Goldust jumped in a white Bronco, and then they cut to this OJ footage of the Bronco coming down the highway, saying, "Oh, they're on the way to the arena."
Right.
And another stretch to that is because the original suggestion and what they tried to do was supposed to be, from what the story was Roddy Piper. They tried to get O.J. Simpson.
Oh, really?
To wrestle at WrestleMania instead of Goldust, and have him fight Roddy Piper in that match. In like a street fight situation. So I'm not going to touch on anything he did, what sort of piece of shit
Or
horrendous
didn't
shit,
do.
or didn't do. I just wanted to
Allegedly.
touch on some interesting pop culture adjacent situations.
Leave it to Dean to
I'll
take
go
a
there.
real sports hero and make it about a fake sport. Good job.
All right. Well, I'm going to be nice.
I'll just add, it was a strange dude. If he did what he did, he really was a pretty dark dude because he played it off like he could just completely pretend like it didn't happen. The trial was, at its time, was one of the craziest things on television. It was the really first big televised trial, and just crazy stuff.
Yeah. You guys both watched the People versus O.J. Simpson? Did you watch that?
I did see that.
I
Yeah, it was
loved
good.
the way you watch all of it, like to the last episode and everything.
Mhm.
Yeah, I love
Yep.
the way it ended. I just thought it was very
I bet you
interesting the way he was portrayed and the way he basically gets away with everything. He goes home and he's in the he's all his friends, he's expecting to go back to his regular life, and they just kind of where's everybody at? Where's everybody going? You know what I mean? And it's just like, yeah, man, this is your life now. Like you can get off with it, but like everybody still knows. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
he never escaped the perception. It never faded. It never went away. Yeah, he may, and it's, he lived another 30 years or whatever after that. But
Yep.
I mean, he never shook it, and nobody was ever like, oh yeah, remember that thing that happened with like OJ was forever OJ.
Yep.
That was never gone.
Yeah,
So-
at the time, it really showed a lot of racial
is it
divide
finished-
still in the country. Okay.
Is it a fitting punishment for getting away with murder? No, but it, you know what I mean? Like it never went away.
Crazy stuff.
I'm trying to look up here because there was the one story, People versus OJ. I want to say that it was who was right here. I think it was John Travolta, right? Because in the original court case, when they did the verdict, the woman stood up and messed up the reading at first, and the actress stood up and messed it up, and he stopped the production and like yelled at her like in front of the cast because she did it twice. Like he kept stopping her until they had to stop him and go, no, that's in the script. That's how it actually happened. So like he didn't understand, he didn't read the script, he didn't know that that's how it happens. But that's a neat little anecdote about that People versus OJ.
There you go. A fine way to end this segment. John Travolta getting angry at people.
Right.
I think we killed it, guys. I think we killed it.
That's right.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, we killed the segment.
The world's most valuable comic was sold recently here, gentlemen, for $6 million. Any idea which comic this might be? Go
I
ahead.
actually don't know what story you're doing, but I know what it used to be. It was Superman episode 1.
That is correct. So, Action Comics.
It's not
Number
Garbage
one.
Pail Kids, the one.
It's not.
That's number 2.
Oh, okay.
Released in 1938, originally sold for 10 cents, the equivalent to about $2 today. Somebody bought it at an auction for $6 million. The previous, actually, was not Superman. The previous was sold at auction for $3.6 million. And this was Amazing Fantasy number 15. Do you know the significance of that one, Nick?
Spider-Man. That was the first appearance of Spider-Man.
That's right.
Oh,
So Superman has defeated.
I thought that was
Spider-Man.
the fan fiction I write about you two.
Amazing Fantasy.
Amazing Fantasy.
I don't know how to describe it other than an amazing fantasy.
You should read it. It's
Yep.
well, hot and heavy there.
I was
Man
started
bun.
with erotic fantasy, but I went amazing, so it would appeal to more, a broader audience.
Well, it was a
Issue
better
one-
way to explain Brian's man bun.
That's
Sure.
right.
Yeah.
I was just going to say issue 1, Man Buns and Hands. That's issue 1. Yep, it's good. It's good. Another toy-related movie is in development here, guys, with Margot Robbie involved. Now, Margot Robbie certainly was involved in the Barbie movie, starred in the Barbie movie. She was a producer. She is making a movie or developing a movie with, let's see, her company, Lucky Chap. It's producing a live action feature based on a certain game. Any idea what game? Want to take a guess?
Oh, Tomb Raider, I bet.
Nope. It's
No?
a board game. I'll put this way. It's a board game.
Candyland?
Nope. Nick, one guess.
Fuck. Fucking shoots and ladders.
Nope.
Operation, and we get to... No, what is it?
Monopoly.
Monopoly.
How are they going to develop a Monopoly board a movie? I don't know, but it
question. It's a pretty boring for being a game, so we'll see what they get with this movie.
I don't know. There's not much known about it, but it is in development with. It's partnering with. Let's see here. No,
and I have Star Wars Monopoly, and it's still borderline boring.
Yeah, I don't know.
I have Cleveland Browns Monopoly.
Yeah.
And you just
everybody loses every
what you roll. You just
no one passes go. Yep. No one collects $200. No one lands on free parking. Yep. Everyone goes to jail all the time.
Actually, you get close to winning every 5-10 years, and
right. And when you every time you pass go, you get the number 1 draft pick. It's
nice.
It's crazy.
Yep. You pick a quarterback and then all over again.
Immediately, when you get halfway around the board, defer them to the middle, and someone else wins. That's it.
Yep, that's right.
Another interesting movie in development here, guys. Another Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie is in development. However, this is a adult themed story.
Ooh,
it's going to be R-rated.
Turtle porn, finally?
No, not quite.
And April O'Neil's blowing a turtle. I can't wait.
It's going to be The Last Ronin.
Little hands on that turtle dick.
Yeah, so the concept is...
Give me that pickle.
There's a singular turtle that's left. So
you have to reach up in the shell. Sorry,
yep.
Go ahead, Brian.
It's okay. But apparently it's going to be a very dark movie. 3 turtles are killed, apparently. You don't know which one, and there's 1 turtle left that's going to use all the weapons, including the ones that his fallen brothers had, and to avenge the deaths or something like that. So Paramount, it's in Paramount Pictures development right now. So I'm intrigued by this.
Yeah.
So,
is Margot Robbie going to play April O'Neil?
I don't think so.
Give her all the jobs.
Sure. Thoughts on
Jen
a darker story for the Turtles, Nick? I know you're a Turtles fan. What do you think about that?
I'm a big Turtles fan. I like the idea of that. As you know, I was a big fan of the most recent Mutant Mayhem that Seth Rogen did. I thought that was phenomenal. But even when, go back and watch, if you haven't watched recently the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, dark is not the right word, but it's certainly... It's got some scene. It's got a little bit of a darker side to it.
Sure.
It's that very first one. Now it gets corny with Secret of the Ooze, and there's Vanilla Ice, and the monsters are like babies, and then it's ridiculous. But the very first one does have some darker things in it, and that one I feel like still holds up really well, especially being for the time that it was made. So I definitely like that idea. I like that. I like when you can take, especially when you have a property that is popular with a generation who are now adults. I like that. Give me Mutant Mayhem. Give me a version of this thing that I love that I can take my kids to go see and have fun, and it's over the top and it's crazy and it's cool and my kids can see it and it's all totally fine. And then also give adult me a version of that for the kid, that grew up with this franchise. You know what I mean? I like that. I like, I don't mind that. There's some, especially with superhero movies, I feel like recently it's they keep pumping out more and more, and sometimes you're just okay, it's, you know what I mean? I feel like at a certain point, especially with the Marvel movies, you almost feel like you're beating a dead horse, or you're trying to just squeeze every little ounce of juice out of there and, but how about that? Like, take a property like Turtles, or if it was like Transformers or something like
Dude,
that.
Rated
Like, give me
R, Rainbow Bright.
Sure.
There you go. Right.
Yeah.
Featuring Margot Robbie. There you go.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
But yeah, like give both. Give me two versions of that. They don't have to be in the same universe. They don't have to just here's this thing. Here's a version of it for a family version, and then here's a version for you as an adult. A
Never two,
different spin on it.
two
So
shall
I think
meet.
that would be really, really cool.
Yeah. What do you think?
Oh, I'm all for it. Of course, I don't think kids should be allowed to like go to the theaters or anyway. So, I don't get why they make anything for children. I don't get why we cater to them. I don't understand the obsession with don't say
obsession
kid.
with the children.
Yeah, you gotta watch where you put that
Or
fucking in that
All
sentence.
right, Kevin Spacey, calm down. Just because I said some halfway decent things about OJ doesn't mean you get to go all Kevin Spacey all of a sudden.
First of all, Kevin Spacey was not accused of doing anything with children. So
I mean, technically he was an adult.
Right. Anyways,
legally, technically he was barely an adult. Yes.
Let's go ahead and see if we can give OJ some more hand jobs, can we?
Jesus fuck.
Yeah, well. All right. So yeah. So I think that we should just do a line of Coke and then do a line of older children's stuff as adult things. So you got Winnie the Pooh and Honey, right?
Blood and Honey.
Blood and Honey.
Make it two more of those, by the way.
I know.
Yeah, I guess there's going to be a whole universe of that as well. They're going to do like an MCU, but it's going to be like fairy tale horror versions or whatever.
That's good.
I wouldn't go that far. We haven't seen them yet. But.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything. But yeah,
but they're making the Steamboat Willie one, the also like the Mickey Mouse one.
Dude, like he whistles and like the noise like explodes people's heads like some sort of Mortal Kombat finisher. I'd be all about that. Steamboat Willie type thing. But yeah, I'm all about it. I think that they go forward with all of this. Let's get away from children and their programming.
You clearly have not seen Bluey, sir, because it is amazing.
I have. It's on Pornhub. Oh, I don't think we're talking about the same thing. Anyways, Brian, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's good with the Turtles. If I started to collect them, I mentioned this before on the show, but I collected the original series, Eastman and Laird, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, back in high school. So this is like the mid '80s. And the original comics, I mean, yes, they were teenage turtles, but it was definitely a darker story. It was a more violent story. It was more about like young people learning the martial arts from Splinter. It was definitely more, again,
like
martial arts related. It wasn't focusing on the. But it was definitely
like the cartoons. It's like they knock them back, but they never show like.
No, it was dark. It was dark. And Casey Jones introduced and everything, and it was not the goofy eating pizza turtles that were portrayed later.
Wouldn't
on
you
the
have enjoyed it
show.
more if one of the turtles won a Heisman?
Maybe. Maybe. No, but so this storyline looks like it harkens back to the original Turtles. So if you've been a long time fan, like someone like me, then you probably would appreciate this maybe a little bit more. Or like you say, it just all you've grown up with is the goofy turtles, which is fine. It's fun and everything. It's definitely marketable. Yeah. But it definitely harkens back to those. So I think it's cool. Looking forward to it. I would definitely go check this out. I think it's live action as well. It's a live action movie.
I hope so.
So there you have it. Yeah. So, okay.
Also, side note on that original Turtles movie, costumes still, I mean, again, for the time,
they still
very cool. Like, they look great. I mean, they really did.
Yep. There you go. We talked about this story a few weeks ago, guys. It was the daughter of the late, great George Carlin was upset about an AI version created without her permission of her father, George Carlin, doing a stand-up act. This was done through a podcast, right? And she was just, expressing that she was upset about it at the time. That was her story a while ago. Well, she sued the makers of the podcast and just won a settlement. So a little bit of justice for George Carlin's family. So apparently it's let's see here now. It's among the first in the entertainment world related to deep fakes, convincing digital imitations of real people made possible by fast evolving AI technology. So George Carlin's daughter fought back and won a settlement in this case, and I think it's a good thing. So
Absolutely.
There you go. All right. Any other comments on that other than justice was served? Anything else on the...
Justice was served. I think if you're going to, it's like anything else. You should get permission. Like I made the joke earlier, but you can't, like on YouTube, you can't sing a song or play a song. You can if you're critiquing it, but like just to sing it or just to play it, you can't do it. You'll get flagged. You'll get taken down because you're not paying for it, and rightfully so. And that should be the same way for anything like that. Anybody's intellectual property or their likeness should be, you should be compensated for it. Unless it's us. I can't wait for AI to do a better version of this podcast.
Sure. Right. Yep. Nick, any final thoughts on the...
Same. I actually don't recall the story. That must have been a show I was not here for. I was like, I don't remember ever talking about this before.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah. So, I mean, good for them.
Well, it's not unlike we talked last week. We talked about the SpongeBob rap that some guy Glorb is making rap videos starring SpongeBob with no affiliation to Nickelodeon. So you see a case like this, maybe you see, people who own the properties standing up, and clearly you could win some cases here, win some settlements here. So it might make some people think twice, which is a good thing. So, okay. Another legal matter here, guys, is getting into our Ask an Idiot question here. Just saw this, thought it was interesting. So we've all seen the picture of Leonardo da Vinci's Vitruvian Man. So this is the diagram of the nude guy kind of standing there with a circle around him. Is sort of a study in human proportions and movement, right? Certainly that's a very old...
I gotta have a movement.
Sure. It's a very old work of art. It's been, replicated and produced on, you name it, T-shirts, et cetera, et cetera. It's out there. There was a German puzzle company, Ravensburger, that tried to make a puzzle with the image on it, and they were sued by, let's see here, they were sued by an Italian court. No, they were sued by the museum, excuse me. So the Italian museum where the original work of art was housed tried to file a suit because you can't reproduce that image in Italy without paying some type of a fee to them or something like that, because they own the original piece. Now, the German company was outside of the country, so the puzzle company won. Okay. But it kind of brings up this whole thing about, it's clearly an old work of art that is now out there in the public domain at this point. So really, once something reaches the public domain, you should have, in most cases, legal rights to pick it up and portray it. I looked up recently just what's in the public domain. Like Winnie the Pooh's there. Right. A lot of the old Universal monsters are there, for example. Frankenstein's monster, a lot of those characters are there. We've talked about there's going to be some DC characters getting into the public domain in a few years and all this and that and the other. So kind of once it's there, it's kind of hard to, there's not much you could do to fight that, right? So
you said that was only within Italy then? If it's reproduced in Italy, they have to pay? Is that what it is?
The original resides in a gallery in Venice. The museum sued Ravensburger over its use of the image in a jigsaw puzzle as far back as 2009, citing Italy's Cultural Heritage and Landscape Code, which gives public institutions in the country the ability to earn fees for commercial replication of artworks, even ones residing in the public domain. Ravensburger contended that the code only applied to Italy, but a Venice court sided with the academia. It's really that Ravensburger. Oh, I take that back. The puzzle company lost that. It had to pay a fee. Right. Fast
Was
forward.
the puzzle being sold in Italy?
It was. I don't know that. So you fast forward to there was a ruling in 2023 that a court in Germany sided with Ravensburger, ruling that the company did not have to pay the fee, and that Italy's Cultural Heritage Code did not apply beyond its borders. The court said the Italian code broke with European law, which standardizes copyright protections for 70 years after the death of the artist. So the Italian state does not have the regulatory power to apply the fee outside Italian territory.
So Italy said Germany should pay Italy for it. Germany said Germany should not pay Italy for it. And basically the whole all of Europe said it's after 70 years you don't have to pay it.
There's a European code that after 70 years, then you could, the image is not protected. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So,
okay.
Yeah.
That is actually a very interesting story.
It is.
But what's the question?
The question is
Germany or Italy? Who do you like more? Deutschland. No, but I love Italy's food.
Well, let's talk about the artwork side of it for a second. So the original piece is owned. It's hanging in a gallery in a certain country, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's in public domain. Should the country where the art resides have any way to earn money from that work of art being replicated, or is it like, it's too bad, it's in the public domain and there's really nothing you can do about it? I don't know what the ruling was, but what do you think? I'm just interested in your opinion. What do you think the rule should be?
I think in public domain, is what it is. If it's going to go back into public domain, of course, yeah, it's up for grabs. But if a country passes a law, you have to abide by the law. We pass a bunch of laws here that everybody outside the U.S. finds absurd or whatnot. But in this country, you cannot break those laws. So if you're in Italy and they passed a law that the museum or whatever it is has the rights because that dead artist stuff is in that museum, that's the law. Law is the law. Outside law,
I was going to say within their borders, absolutely.
Within their borders. Mm-hmm. If I produce a picture of an artist that's been dead for 500 years, and I replicate that outside of the domain of the country that has those laws, that is what it is. I think it was decided properly by the German court.
Okay.
Yeah,
but I do understand
Europe at large because basically Italy court says they owe, German court says they don't, and Europe goes they don't because it's been too long.
They were in if the company was in Italy and produced it in Italy, yeah, of course you got to pay.
Yeah,
that's the law. That's
what they would have decided, and they would right.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. No, agreed. I don't know. I think it is an interesting debate, but also like when you mentioned the actual image, I'm like, that thing's fucking everywhere.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like we've all seen it a million times, and it's everywhere. Like fuck, it's on T-shirts at like Kohl's or Walmart. It's just general image that is it's one of those things that like
not one of those shirts made in Italy.
It's almost been so long of a thing and so common of an image that like I didn't know that Da Vinci made that. Like I didn't know that. I've seen that image a million times.
Underwear with the statue of David on there, and my penis sticks out exactly where his does. It's really something remarkable. It's smaller than the actual statues, but anyways.
So
I've got a
yeah,
small dick.
it was decided fairly, but it is kind of odd to think about because, like I said, it's like any of those classic historic paintings that those images you see all the time. I mean, they're all over the place. It's hard to imagine, and I think maybe because they are so old that you just would never think that like you have to pay to use them. They're like part of world history, right? I mean, but yeah, like Dean said, it was, I think, decided fairly.
Yeah, you don't have a Frank da Vinci over there going, my great uncle.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, it's like you say, how can you have an owner to any piece of art that's that old? Very interesting. And even the gallery, I mean, yes, they own the original piece of work, but I don't know how they obtained it, and it's just there on display to celebrate the culture of that nation.
It sounds like simply by the law. They got it, and then they passed the law probably after all that stuff's in the museum.
Yeah.
Probably at the request of the of the museum itself. Like, hey, we should probably own this, and they probably lobbied and got the law passed. Would be my guess.
Now, let me preface what I'm about to say with saying that absolutely people that create any type of art deserve to be paid for what they have made. Okay. Right. However, whether it be actual art, a drawing, a painting, a piece of music, a film, whatever art you've created, and once you've been paid for it, I almost feel like with art, once you have created it and sent it out into the world, it then kind of belongs to the consumer. You know what I mean? It not belongs to, nobody has ownership of it, but like I said, you deserve to be paid for it. But when you're creating something to be consumed by people, once you've had your compensation for said whatever piece of art, whether it be, like I said, an album, a song, whatever, doesn't it kind of, you released it into the wild, right? Like now it's out there.
But
like it depends.
Some of it is like you can't just take and create like a shirt that says Star Wars on it, for example, and market it and make money from that on your own. You can get permission to do that.
You two are talking about two different things, though.
Okay.
I think the idea is, Nick, what you're slightly missing is if there's a painting, somebody paints something, and I take the painting, I can go and display it in my house. I could even go display it in public. I can go show everybody. I can show my friends. But I can't make money off that.
Right. Or making copies of it.
That's like music. I can turn up the volume in my house and the neighbors can hear it. I can have a block party. Everybody can hear it. But once I start making money off somebody else's art, that's where they deserve compensation.
Yeah. If you're charging people money to have a listening party to this album in your backyard, now you have a problem, right? Yeah.
Okay. Well, one way that we support buying art is our TeePublic store, ladies and gentlemen. So go check that out here. Dean is wearing one right this very minute. So
actually, that shirt, when I keep looking in my peripheral, I keep seeing it. So to describe to those who are just listening, Dean has the I Don't Have a Bear in the Fight shirt, which is now on our store. And it's a picture of a bear with a yellow background that says as much, and it's in a brown beige frame. And Dean has it printed on a green shirt. As we were talking about turtles, I keep thinking that you are wearing a Ninja Turtles shirt. It looks like it would be a green shirt.
This would be
their chest plate was like a yellow color with the outline of it. I was like, it looks like you're wearing like a chest plate Ninja Turtle shirt.
All right, I ain't mad at that.
Yeah. All right, well, interesting story here, guys. And we all agree that ruling made sense, but it is interesting conversation about old works of art and who should profit from that. So there you go. We're going to take a break here, guys, and we're going to come back with our main topic this evening. Apocalyptic things. Gloom and doom a little bit here. That'll be our main subject coming after you. Coming
Nick's
after the break.
opinion on OJ.
Well, that's positive.
I'm just spreading good vibes out there. You know, no matter, I like to persevere, even when bad things happen. I like to spread good vibes out there, everybody.
Look out.
That's right.
Look out.
The positive juice is loose.
I would love to.
The juice is going to be loose on your face. Four, three.
And welcome back to segment number 3, Convincing Idiots. I am Millennial Nick, alongside Gen X Brian and Zennial Dean. Ladies and gentlemen, we just experienced an incredible cosmic event that just passed this week with the total solar eclipse
I
that
thought you were
was
talking about when I mooned you.
perfectly visible from us here in northeastern Ohio. And Dean's moons are available and perfectly visible to anyone on the internet. But this one was specific to us. Just got us to think. I mean, it was a very fantastic event. It was incredible. We were all very in awe of it in general. Nothing bad happened. It was great, right? Was there something in the back of your mind?
Could be said about my moon, too.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe something collides out there in space. I don't know. It does raise the question, right? If there were to be some type of insane natural apocalyptic disaster, how would that look? And maybe what are some of our
if the sun
portrayals
burned out now,
of... Can I get through the fucking intro? God damn it.
I was going to tell you a fucking fact. Fine. No, go.
No, go ahead. Mid-sentence. Go ahead. Just tell me a fact. Go ahead, we're waiting.
No.
I want to know the fact.
No, I want to listen to your 18-minute intro. Come on.
It was 4.5 minutes, goddammit. 4.5. Anyway, natural disaster movies. What are your favorites? Go around the table. Talking about Rushmore. What's your fact? We're going to discuss. Oh, God damn it. We're going to discuss some of our favorite portrayals in film of natural disasters, apocalyptic settings, so on and so forth. And now I'd like to throw it to Dean for a very special and incredibly urgent fact.
Did you know, speaking of apocalyptic, that if the sun burnt out right now, we wouldn't know about it for 8 minutes? Like if
right?
the Earth, if the sun just died,
so it could have burned out 6 minutes ago, and we'd still have no
correct.
idea.
Yeah, because it takes 8 minutes to reach us, so we wouldn't see darkness for 8 minutes.
As much as I do hate your incessant interruptions, that is interesting.
Yeah, thank you.
That is legitimately interesting.
Well, it's kind of like
as the first
the movie
interesting
Brian.
thing he said this evening.
In 3 years. No, like the TV show Brian's watching, that what was it, 3 Body Count, where like they know in 40 years this army 400 years the alien invasion is incoming, so they have to figure out something to do with it. So if we knew, I mean, obviously 8 minutes is a very short time to figure out what to do, but
there's not much you can do.
No,
I think you're basically fucked. I mean, that's what you can do. You can go
find a blanket.
Yeah.
In that 8 minutes, Dean would interrupt all of our final words. That I did know that.
You just hug your loved ones. Hold on, real quick, before you do that, I gotta tell you something about wrestling.
Final thought to say.
In WrestleMania 12.
I'm glad you brought that up. Roddy Piper had one final thought. That's it. That's how it would end, right there. Something like that. It's close.
Beer was close to coming out of my nose on that one.
All right. Dean, what is one of your favorite apocalyptic movies or shows?
It's none of your goddamn business. That's what it is.
All right. Good.
Was
There
one
you
that
go.
Hulk Hogan starred in, probably. I don't know.
Okay. My first one is Apocalypse Now.
Okay, there you go.
It's a joke. It's not an
Care
apocalyptic
to
movie.
elaborate?
Right.
No?
Uh-huh.
It's
Right.
it's only the word as apocalypse. No, my number one starting off is it has one of the most heartbreaking scenes in film to me, and it happens to be in this weird, crazy zombie type movie. It is when Will Smith had to kill his dog in I Am Legend.
That was a good movie.
It was a great movie.
Yeah.
And when he had because the dog just got infected because saving him,
Mm-hmm.
the dog got bit and he had to suffocate it. It's right off screen. You don't see him actually doing it, but you can see him struggling and the dog whimpering and he's crying while he's just heartbreaking.
Yeah.
I Am Legend.
Very good. Brian?
I'm going to go with not quite my number one, but the Planet of the Apes series, gentlemen. So this goes back to all of them. So we could do a series of movies. I'm trying to pick the best. If I was going to pick the best Planet of the Apes, it'd be the original.
Yeah.
In '68 or whatever it is with Charlton Heston, just fabulous with the whole end scene of him realizing he's back on a Earth after humans blew it up basically with the Statue of Liberty on the beach. It's fantastic. Go ahead.
I don't know. Sorry, I don't know if we've ever done an episode of all time endings or twists at the end, but that's
that on
fucking
our list.
one. Absolutely,
that is on our list. But yeah, we'll do
all
that.
Time.
Great,
iconic.
Great.
Yeah,
that was a surprise, and Rod Serling helped write the screenplay for that from the Great Twilight Zone. You could see that was definitely a nice twist on his part. Anyway, but the whole series, even the new ones that they rebooted and brought back out, as a new Planet of the Apes movie coming out soon, I just thought those were, for the most part, very well done. This shows you how apes are. We know the story, so I won't even elaborate on it. But the Planet of the Apes movies is fantastic.
Yeah,
in those movies, you kind of root for the apes to overtake man because man is such a fuck up, destroyed the world.
Well, Dr. Zaius at the end reads that scripture or whatever, the prophecy or whatever it is about that mankind is the only species that will wage war on itself and all that stuff, and that's very true. Yeah,
very true. Absolutely. Yep. And we're killing the Earth even right now. So there you go. Yep. Nick.
Yes, sir. I do have a question. Are we doing film and TV or just okay?
Yep.
So I'm gonna start off.
That was not in your text, so I just.
Yes, it was.
Okay. So in television, just gonna go with the new one here. The Last of Us. Last of Us has been incredible. Very, not apocalypse necessarily, but certainly life as we would have known it would have been gone with the infection that took over the world, and it's just really well done. From what I had never played the video games. I'd heard of the video games. I knew it was a video game, but I never played them, which it's kind of cool because as a viewer of the show, I'm glad I've never played the games because I don't I like not really knowing what's, learning it as we're watching it. But at the same time, it kind of makes me want to retroactively go back and play the games. But it's just really well done. Interesting concept. I know Brian, especially, I know you're a big fan of the zombie stuff, and that's all well and good, but it's been done a lot. So I like that this is a different twist. It still gives you that similar vibe, but it's not necessarily, zombies or whatever. So, but yeah, The Last of Us, I think, has just been fantastic so far. I can't wait for season 2. So that is my first pick.
Very good. Dean, did you verify my text that I clearly said shows and movies?
No, I can only get that on my phone. My number 2 is Shaun of the Dead. I just actually recently watched that. Had Carter watch it. Still holds up. It was made in early 2000s. Funny, kind of a little heartwarming at times, but very cool kind of zombie movie. And Shaun of the Dead is my next pick.
Nice.
Excellent. Well, I'll stay with the zombie theme. I'm wearing a Tar Man shirt, by the way, too, from Return of the Living Dead. One of my favorite movies. Tar Man is one of the zombie characters. The Walking Dead series here, guys. So the original television series on AMC. They still have, shows running today. A lot of offshoots of the original series, but just fantastic. I know I've said it before on the show, but the one interesting thing about that is humans are more dangerous than, at least as dangerous, if nothing else, than the zombies are. The zombies are sort of players in this, but humans fighting to survive and still continuing to fight for power and greed, everything else, is one of the main, again, the primary dangers of that series. So very good, very interesting characters. It gives you a feel of what it would be like living in a zombie apocalypse. So that's it. Nick?
Nice. For my next submission, I will go with This Is the End. I absolutely fucking love this movie. James Franco, Seth Rogen, Jay Baruchel, Craig Robinson, Danny McBride. Fantastic. Just we'd be here for an hour if I were to sit here and name off every celebrity in the movie. It's incredible. They made it for, I think, just to have fun amongst themselves. But just incredible. Obviously, there's basically the end times overtake the world. A giant portal to hell opens up in the middle of Hollywood, and all the celebrities are there, and just a fantastic movie. Just ridiculous, over the top, silly. You both have seen this movie. Have you seen?
I saw it in the theater years ago. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I absolutely love that movie. So many great comedic actors that I love that are in it. And like I said, it's just ridiculous, super over the top, super gruesome, like death scenes and things like that. It's just a good mixture of, like the over the top B-movie style, deaths and stuff like that, and over the top gore and violence, and just the hilarity ensues. So I love that movie. So this is the end is my next one.
Also good at making fun of themselves and making fun of their profession and how crazy it is to be an actor, how self-important they are and everything. A lot of good stuff in that, absolutely.
Yeah, I need to see the actual version of that. I think I saw it on TBS. So I think I need to,
like an edited version?
I need to see the unedited version.
I have it. I'll let you borrow it if you want to see it. I've got it on Blu-ray or something. Yeah. So
my
Dean,
next one, number 3, is Zombieland.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah,
Woody Harrelson,
Emma Stone? Jesse Eisenberg.
Emma Stone, Jesse Eisenberg. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Was Bill Murray in the first one or second one?
First one.
First one. That's right.
Very good. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. I don't know because I'm not the biggest fan of zombie movies, but it definitely beat my expectations. It was fun to watch.
Yeah.
One of the greatest intros of any zombie movie, as far as
I don't even remember.
The whole slow motion, it shows like the zombies starting to take over. There's different scenes. Like there's guys running out of a strip club with like a zombie stripper running after them. It's all kinds of stuff with Metallica, For Whom the Bell Tolls, playing.
Yeah.
Really cool lead in. And Woody Harrelson is fabulous. I loved his character. Flew to Florida. Is that what he's called in that movie or something like that? Or
we I've same deal. I'm not the biggest zombie movie guy, and I think Robin and I rented it when we first got together. We were at her old house. We watched it, and I was like, I absolutely loved it. I was like, that was fantastic. That was way better than I expected it to be. Yeah.
You see when they go down the hill because they saw the overturned Hostess truck. And they go down there. He was so excited. It was just full of snowballs. He was so angry and upset. The snowballs. Because I love snowballs. He's like, it's not the taste. It's the consistency.
I do love a good snowball.
You got to be in the mood for it, though, right? Yeah. Sometimes the snowball hits the spot. And other times it's just like, the twink. You need the Twinkie.
So good.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna give you the Matrix movies here, guys. Just a
Ooh,
different
good one.
play on an apocalyptic future where humans, as we know, are sort of in pods and they're living through an alternate reality and sort of discover that. So interesting concept. I mean, from a science fiction, I mean, the first one was just like, wow, as a whole crazy vibe. Keanu Reeves, fantastic. Lawrence Fishburne, great. Just the whole thing was good. Maybe by the third, it was like, okay, it was, sort of maybe time to end it. And then the fourth, they did have a fourth one not that long ago, which was decent.
It was a couple of years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was fairly recent, so it was decent. It wasn't like I wasn't like angry that they made it and they tied into the story just fine. Was it necessary? No, but it was still pretty cool. But that whole universe and that concept of that was very original, and it does make you think. Like if you were a part of that universe, you would really, what would you want to do? Would you want to remain sort of in your pod, living in a kind of an exciting life, an alternate reality, or do you really want to wake up and be a part of that terrible, terrible apocalyptic world, which would be a very hard way to go, but you would have your own life? I don't know. So it did raise a lot of interesting questions. So very cool universe, The Matrix.
Yeah. Very cool.
Nick? Yeah.
Next on my list, I have War of the Worlds. Specifically, the one that I'm referencing is the Tom Cruise one from the early 2000s. I loved the way it was done. I thought one of the things that really caught me up, like we've seen a lot of different like alien takeover movies, things like that. The aliens were very different in the way that they had to defeat the aliens, and they had it was just very original, very, very different. Like, for example, I love the movie Signs with Joaquin Phoenix and Mel Gibson. Thought it was fantastic. My only gripe was at the end when they showed the alien and it's in the living room and they're face to face with it. It's very like stereotypical, tall, greenish gray, like alien with the big eye. It looked like the aliens that, I don't know. I liked in War of the Worlds, that Tom Cruise one, that the aliens were very different looking. They almost kind of had these like long, lanky legs. They walked on fours, and these I don't know how to describe it if you haven't seen it, but I really thought that movie was really well done. You definitely I don't know, in that movie I remember watching it and being really taken with it and feeling like you're really going through the struggle to stay alive and they're just on to the next thing with that family. It's just a dad and his two kids, just trying to make it to safety and make it to the next safe place. And then obviously they encounter all different kinds of people in similar situations with different motives, and you don't know who to trust. But War of the Worlds, I don't know, it's probably like what, 2003, 4, 5, somewhere around there, that Tom Cruise one. So that was always one that I really enjoyed. So
go back and watch the original as well. You can find it out there on streaming.
Okay.
Interesting.
What year would the original have been made?
Gosh, I think 50s. I want to say something like that. I run into it one night, just one of those nights in the backyard in the summertime, just chilling out. And I'm like, I've never saw the original of that, and it was interesting.
Okay,
for sure. Yeah.
Dean?
My number 4 is The Stand, Stephen King's, and it was I guess, regardless of what I thought of the text, it was on TV, but it was a miniseries, like 8 parts or some shit like that.
Fantastic.
It was quite long. I didn't see the new one, but I'm going more on the original, Molly Ringwald.
Yeah.
Dauber from Coach. It was a very Randall Flagg. I don't know the guy's name who played that, but he was fantastic as I guess Randall Flagg is the devil, in a sense, or devil on earth. Kind of the world is taken down by a plague, and only select few people survive, and they have to ultimately make a stand against the devil and his people that follow him that are left on earth as well. So it was very cool.
Yeah, it was like in the early early to mid '90s.
Yeah.
I think that was. I recall that. That was. I was
Was
riveted
it Rob
to that.
Lowe in it as well?
Rob Lowe. Yeah. Just fantastic.
Moon. That spells moon.
Mm-hmm. And at the time, it was one of the few. It got pretty dark. I mean, at that time, you figure, cable certainly was around in the mid '90s, but they weren't.
It was on ABC.
I mean, you weren't really. You're right. It was. You're right. But it had some pretty scary and violent tones in that thing. Yeah. So it was. It had come out around somewhere in there too, but it was definitely very shocking and compelling. So yeah, very good stuff. Yeah.
I've heard of The Stand. But I've never I know that hearing it, but I've never seen it or anything like that.
It's good.
Yeah. Yeah, going through the pandemic makes you think about that as well. Like you said, it's just that a flu wipes out all these, just with select humans. It was really cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Dean, Brian.
Yeah.
Never mind, you're Dean. Brian.
Let's see here. How about more zombie stuff here, guys. The Godfather of the zombie movies, the George Romero universe with the Night of the Living Dead movies. So you had Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead. So just he established the zombie movie. I mean, he took it to another level. He created the whole zombie, rules, and it's just zombies are here. It didn't really explain what happened, which was perfectly fine, and it just humans trying to survive in that world. So certainly that was an inspiration for many other movies, Shaun of the Dead, as Dean mentioned, The Walking Dead, whatever. But George Romero really started it all. Dean, you say something?
Thank you.
Being called on.
Thank you. I'd watched a documentary about film and film history and horror movies, and I guess the idea and concept of zombies as we know them came from George Romero. That movie, there was no even written thing about zombies themselves or the whole eating brains, flesh, coming from the dead. What we know of zombies and lore in zombies movies, I guess, comes from George Romero's brain.
Sure.
I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, a genius in many rights. I know I've talked about him several times on this podcast. His movies, his just terrifying. People keep rise from the dead. Why? Don't know. It just happens, and it's an endless amount of dead people. And they're going to keep coming after you. That's it. You can't stop them unless you destroy the brain.
You know what? That is an underrated thing. Like I said, with This Is Us, it's kind of akin to it's a zombie movie thing, or not a movie, but it's a zombie premise, but not zombies, right? But if you were in the actual situation, it's much more horrifying to not know why this is happening. At least with that whole thing, they understand there's elements to it. There's scientific reasons to why this has happened.
Mm-hmm.
With the zombies, there's no fucking. You don't even know what's causing that. It's just they're there, and it's happening, and you're fucked. What are you gonna do?
There's a good chance you wouldn't know.
Yeah.
Take into consideration if it happened right now. We don't have the TVs on. We don't have our phones on. We would just have to start, fleeing and running, and you wouldn't, when be the next time? Because in theory, TV, phones, everything is going down around you, so you wouldn't be able to have somebody tell you. You wouldn't have the whatever people, the media or anybody to tell you what's exactly happening.
Sure.
So you just know that these people around you, your friends and family, are trying to eat you and are zombies.
Right.
Yeah, and those movies too were they added that element where just what you're saying, they had glimpses of people were listening to the radio, they were watching television, and people just that very thing. They didn't know what was going on. They're trying to explain it, and there's scientists trying to tell you what to do, and then it's just everybody's terrified.
Yeah.
You try to maintain some type of semblance of society and warn people and try to help people and talk about it and warn it, and it just meanwhile the whole
Or
world
take
is just
advantage
going
of
to
them and
shit.
steal their resources.
Sure. Yeah. So good stuff. All those movies are great in their own right. The original's still way up there, but any of those movies you can't go wrong to watch any of the George Romero zombie movies.
Yeah.
Nick?
All right, is it my turn?
Yep.
Okay. Going down the list here. Hey, if no one else is going to say it, Terminator. Come
I'll
on.
be back.
I know that I like Arnold, and I bring up a lot of Arnold properties, and I've gushed about Terminator before and other different lists that we've done. But this one fits in again. It's great science fiction, and certainly the world in which Skynet and the Terminators have taken over is that of a modern day apocalypse. So, and again, like we've talked about before, I'm just going to kind of touch on the things we've all already said in past episodes. With AI and things like that, it's certain elements of it are ringing truer and truer every day. But nonetheless, it's a great, just a great storyline, great movies. So I don't really know what else there is to say about the Terminator franchise that I haven't said already. But yeah, Terminator.
James Cameron's going to make new ones, Nick, with the AI premise there. That's what it is. So
Nice.
And new ones will be coming, especially on the heels of all this AI technology that you talked about.
Yeah, absolutely. Why not?
Sure.
It's like the king OG of like what our apocalypse would actually look like. I remember as a kid that scene in Terminator 2 where it showed the nuclear blast of her holding onto the fence and just blowing everybody into dust. Yeah, you had The Day After Tomorrow back in the 80s on TV, that movie, Brian. I don't know if you remember that one.
Day After.
Yeah. But that was like how society's dealing with it. This was like, it showed you like the physical, like your skin being blown off.
Yeah.
Like it was really freaky to me as a kid. It really kind of hit home like that's our apocalypse. That's, you're coming off the heels of the 80s and the Cold War against Russia and all of that. And then to see, the flesh burnt off, it was chilling.
Yeah. We always talk a lot about, like, in pop culture in general, like The Simpsons, calling... Is Jim Cameron a prophet? Like, has he been telling us these things for years? Like, I mean, it's pretty wild. Like, honestly, think about, like, Avatar even. Like, I mean, obviously Avatar, has an eye towards, like, climate change and things like that, how we're killing the earth. But, who knows? With avatars, is that something where like almost like a Ready Player One type of reality that we get into? It's very interesting.
Well, he did this movie back in the 90s called Titanic. You know that shit actually happened?
I know. Did he call that one too?
Called it. Right on the money.
Wow. Wow. Dean, I think you're up.
My final... let's see. I have Independence Day, Will Smith's second spot on my list.
Yeah. Good one.
Good movie.
You had the especially in the theaters, how big it was to see the buildings blow up in Los Angeles and New York, and the White House blowing up, and the cool scene of that helicopter trying to, assuming it had the vice president, it was the helicopter vice president, flies on, and it's trying to get away, and it blows up with it, and everybody gets out just in time. And the cast was, I mean, is sometimes looking back at it now, I guess, as cheesy as the dialogue was, it was still a fantastic cast from Will Smith,
Jeff Goldblum.
I mean, well, that's all I have to say.
Bill Paxton.
Bill Paxton as the president.
Probably the greatest presidential speech known to cinema and in real life. You know, when he gets everybody hyped up for Independence Day.
Door Tops in
and going
our
to get the
fictional
aliens.
president episode was
That's right.
Bill
He
Paxton.
won.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So our president leading the way for my number 5 on my Mount Rushmore of apocalyptic movies, Independence Day.
Very good. Nick, I'd overlap with Terminator. I figured you were going to say it sooner or later, so I'll let you say it first. So,
Yeah, I was like, someone's going to say Terminator. I was like, we got it in the 4th spot, and I was like, well.
I mean,
actually, if we're going to go that route, it was on my list. I changed it because he'd said it.
Okay, yeah.
I had some. I always have ones that I could back up and put in that place. So
sure. I mean, after the first 2, the rest were sort of hit and miss. Some clunkers in there, certainly in the whole series, but the whole premise and the first 2 movies are just fabulous, fantastic. And again, like you say, one of Arnold's best roles. Very scary. You know, if you watch the zombie movies, it's like that can never happen, really.
Right.
But again, like you said already, you watch a Terminator, it's like that's not so far fetched to where machines become aware and kill us all. Is it going to be a whole time travel thing? Yeah, probably not. But the whole awareness thing, it's like that's not out of the question.
Yeah,
it's one of those movies where if you did watch it back in the 80s, the original one, you probably watched it in like you said about the other movies. Okay, I mean it's a cool premise, but it's not going to happen. But the further along we go, you look back and go, oh shit, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Hit rewind on that because VHS. Let's watch that one again.
It went from being like when you first saw it to being like that's kind of an eerie premise. Interesting, isn't it? Far-fetched still, but eerie to think that you know. And then as time goes on, it becomes just scarier and scarier. You're like, it's legitimately like, okay, like now people are, blatantly referencing Terminator when we talk about AI and stuff. I mean, it's like, okay, shit, this is kind of like
afraid.
This is how Skynet starts. Like, what the fuck's
genuinely
going on?
afraid about it. Yeah. Good stuff.
Yep.
Any honorable mentions here, guys?
I'm not done. I got a 5th.
I'm so sorry.
Don't you too?
Go ahead.
Wait a minute. Oh, you had that was your 5th. Okay, right.
I apologize.
My 5th. We've done a lot of like post-apocalyptic worldscape things like that. This one is more of like a natural disaster themed, and it's The Perfect Storm with Russell Crowe, Mark Wahlberg. I want to say 2001, something like that. Nobody's ever seen The Perfect Storm?
I
bunch of guys on a fishing boat. Bunch of dudes. Yeah,
I mean, it was that was their apocalypse.
Oh, was it the whole huge wave or something?
Yeah. They're fishermen by trade. They're out on a fishing boat and have to navigate. There's obviously this perfect storm is brewing as they're on this, this big.
That's like
fishing
saying
trip.
that Towering Inferno was an apocalyptic movie.
Well,
it was an apocalypse for the people that involved.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't supposed to be apocalyptic. It was supposed to be a disaster movie or disaster themed thing. So I went with disasters. Right? No? Did I misread the text?
Yes, you did. That's okay.
Okay.
Did I? It's apocalypse? Right. Okay.
Yeah, it's okay. That's all right. Okay.
Then, okay. Oh, man, am I glad that... All right. Because I had looked up disaster movies, and I'm like, I've not seen many, it turns out. So I thought I was, like, bordering the line with a lot of my
Could
picks.
this episode be on that list?
No, it is a good... I mean, disaster movies is a good
disaster,
separate topic. It's not a disaster. It's okay. It's fine.
Okay, well, it was a natural disaster.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I guess, right, to them.
Mm-hmm.
Or no, we're not going for disaster. So,
No,
yeah,
apocalyptic.
Yeah.
It was their apocalypse.
Okay, then I'll go back to honorable mention. Planet of the Apes was on my list as well, but I bumped it.
Right.
So there we go. Honorable mention, Perfect Storm. See how that works?
My honorable mention was The Day After Tomorrow. It was that what was his name? The kid from I should have put more research into that one.
The 80s series you're talking about?
No. It was the one where the fucking New York froze over.
Yeah, it was
not Tobey Maguire, but Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yes.
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Okay.
Had to get his family all throughout it, but like, yeah, the whole world was like freezing. I don't remember fucking how it happened, but the whole. I think even the poster is like just the Statue of Liberty, half of it sticking out of like ice and stuff.
I think that's right. Yeah. Okay. Any other honorable mentions, Dean?
No, that's all I had.
Okay.
I'll be got it. Sorry, I'm still here. Okay. Here's where another best disaster / apocalyptic movies or shows in week of the eclipse from Brian. Text message. That's where I got my. Okay, so
my apologies.
Actually, turns out because he said yes. So turns out, TV shows, apocalypse disaster. There you go.
Okay.
So everyone was right and everyone was wrong. How about that?
I was wrong. I did not see TV shows.
Okay.
That's okay. Well, you didn't have TV shows. You had movies.
Right.
Well, that's okay. You had the Stand as a TV show. The Stand's a TV show, so that's all right. We're all good.
Yes.
We're all good.
I was going to say, I swore I saw Disaster because I legitimately, when I was like, I mean, there are some topics we do that I do research on because I'm like, they don't come straight to my mind. Others, I'm like, oh, fuck, no problem. So this one, I was like, disaster movies. I could think, and I'm like, I can think of some, but a lot of them, as I was looking, I'm like, I haven't seen a lot of disaster movies.
I didn't read TV shows or the word disasters, so my list probably would have been different if I would have read it correctly.
Yeah, it's like honorable mentions. I wrote down Twister because I was reaching for straws. Like I was like
that would be a great disaster movie.
When you joked about Titanic, I was like, I probably would have thrown in an honorable mention just because, like, it was featured around a historical accurate disaster. So yeah. But you know what? Disasters, apocalypse, no matter what, if you're in the situation, you're fucked. So basically, these are things in pop culture and TV or film who, if you were in those situations, you just be like, you're fucked. There you go.
You just want to get a run as far away as you could.
Yeah.
Right.
Episode title, top scenarios in which you would be fucked. Leave it at that, and then let the person coming to listen to the episode decide for themselves what it means.
There you go. Dean tried to help you with a lead into the electric bike. That's okay. I'll give honorable mentions real quick. That's all right.
Give a little honorable mentions. A little help.
That's all right. I had Zombieland overlap. I had Shaun of the Dead also. This is the end. The Day After series, Dean, 1983. At that time, man, that was really dark.
It scared a lot of fucking people.
Super dark shit. That was a nuclear war, and it was like, people surviving after that and just out roaming wreckages of houses. I still, to this day, there was a scene in my brain where somebody walked by a house and there was some kid that was like fried in this rubble, like screaming, and somebody saw it. I was like, God damn, just frightening images, man. It was really creepy. And especially at that time, it was like a whole nuclear war scare was very prevalent at that time. So 28 days later. They had a
physical disclaimer for that, remember?
Yeah, right, because this is not real. Right, they had to make sure it was clear that this is a movie. This is not real, in case somebody
watched it. They had a hotline, I think, set up for people that were affected by watching it.
Yeah, that was legit shit back then, yeah. But kudos to them for airing it. Right. It was definitely very controversial and made you think, and it was something. 28 days later, I was starting to say that's if you haven't seen, there's two of these movies. It's a zombie movie. 28 days after the zombie thing happens is sort of the premise, but very good, very very frightening. Again, there's people trying to survive in that, and the Mad Max series.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Very good, and as we know that they made a new movie a couple of years ago, and there's a new one that'll be coming out soon. I think later this year, as a matter of fact. Another in that universe. So looking forward to that.
The girl from Queen's Gambit.
Yes. Yeah, taking over
Anna Taylor.
Green.
Yeah.
Something or another.
I don't know.
Yeah. And taking over from Charlize Theron, so you're playing the same character that was in the last Mad Max movie. Yeah, same character, but different actress. But good stuff. All right.
Nice. Yeah,
Well,
honorables. I got Twister, Titanic.
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh, Road to Revolution. You guys see that one? It's like with the Road to Revolution as what 97, something like that. Apocalypse breaks out. This guy hops on his electric bike and rides his way into his revolutionary decision to purchase an electric bike from our friends at RPM Bike Shop. That's correct. If you didn't see that in 1997, I'm telling you about it now. You're late to the party. Call our friends at RPM Bike Shop at 330-808-7792. They are located conveniently in Carrollton, Ohio. Or you can give them a search on Facebook. Just type in RPM Bike Shop. You can see the fine electric bikes that they have to offer you. Or you can go to their website, rpmbikeshop.com. And see your way into your own revolutionary decision to hook yourself up with a fine electric bike from RPM Bike Shop and escape your own apocalyptic ride right now.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Sorry, Dean, I'm just curious. What was your lead in? I missed it.
Is he running away or something like that?
You said that all these disaster movies would show you what was happening. I said, yeah, it would show you trying to get away, maybe by running
or walking, or there you go.
Yep.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
No, it's
okay. That's all right. Call our friends also.
You okay, buddy?
Call our friends also at soon to be former Golden Heart Tattoo. They will have a new name and a new location in wonderful Wadsworth, Ohio shortly. But you can still give them a call at 234-706-2982. Get yourself a tattoo of your favorite apocalyptic character or movie or show or disaster show or a tornado or whatever the hell you want. They can do it for you with quality and care. How about that?
Fantastic.
Right. And some call it a disaster, some call it frightening, some call it an apocalyptic turn of events when the show comes to an end. Gentlemen.
Disparaging, for sure.
It is. It really is.
Well, it may not be the end of days, but it is the end of this day for us, and we must call it a night. So, we will live to fight another day, and you will live to find us another day by, for example, going to our website, convincingidiots.wordpress.com. Or perhaps a link to our social media accounts, which would be found on Google by typing Convincing Idiots Linktree, LINKTREE. So fear not, till the bitter end of times, we will be with you. I am Millennial Nick.
Zennial Dean.
Gen X Brian.
Have we convinced you to ride out the rest of your days in this mortal coil, listening to us on Convincing Idiots? I mean, you're going to die anyway. You might as well, right? Like, what's the difference?
Watch us in a luxury bunker.
Did you just see that shit? If you liked what you saw, like and subscribe. Come back. You're going to want to.
Ham gravy.
Okay.
186 intro in 5, 4, 3.
This week on episode number 186 of the Convincing Idiots podcast, we talk about the death of O.J. Simpson. Happy, sad, we will discuss... That's terrible. Let me try that again. Awful. Awful.
It's one of the, that's what I was talking about, right? Because I was like, and even like on the, I know we joked about like, be like, say, I don't know, it's that weird thing because it's like, what do you even